Well, hello there and welcome back to Punchestown. For once we got some decent weather as well. Looking forward to that. Joined by Brendan Duke and Nicola McGeady as we have all week on What's the Word here live from Punchestown. Looking forward to the big race on Friday, the Champion Hurdle. I suppose, Brendan, start with you. Given what's happened over the last week, is there almost a point in not running Sam Crow in this? Because the trainer's title, it looks to be dead and buried now, doesn't it?
Yes, but don't worry, it's not all about the trainers. Think about the fans.
Think about
Tom.
the fans, the
Think
racing
about the
putters.
fans.
Don't tell me that.
They want to see Sam Crow. He's a novice, but
Yeah.
he's not really a novice. He could have won the Champion Hurdle, and
Yeah.
he'll probably prove that tomorrow in the Punchestown version.
Were you super impressed with Cheltenham?
Oh, he's so impressive. I mean, Kennedy gave him an ultra-safe ride. It was like,
Yeah.
just don't get this horse brought down. Now, that got Dunguib beaten.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was a particularly good ride, but I don't know what his instructions were or what have you. But it turns out that the horse just couldn't get beaten. He bolted up.
Are you afraid of him just being put at that proper 2-mile pace against this lot?
No, I think the way he jumps hurdles, the faster they go, the better he'll jump.
Okay.
He's liquid over the hurdles.
How do they bet, Nicola?
Yeah, listen, as you can't be surprised to see Sam Crow's going to be odds on tomorrow. I think is arguably the most exciting horse in training. However, I think the value lies elsewhere. I'm going to be really just
To be fair,
country
Nicola,
stupid
you know,
by saying this, but
Booker's
I
doing
think
okay this week.
Mellon is the obvious alternative, is a 9-4. He pushed Bouverdare very close to Cheltenham, the Champion Hurdle, and no other horse seems to have managed to have done that this season. So I just want to find a little bit of value out there. And, I
And
think
it's
punters
open
will be
class
doing
grade
the same.
1 form,
exactly.
you know? You're still with Mellon's
Oh, yeah,
here,
no, that's
it.
who I'm going with.
Okay.
I've given favourites most of the week, so I decided to mix it up.
Okie dokie, that's fair enough. There is another grade 1 in the card as well, this novice over 2.5 miles, the one Sam Crow sort of defected from. You fancy anything for that, Brendan?
I do. I fancy one of the great testament to the skills of Gordon Elliott and Palisader, who's a bit of a rogue on the flat, a very talented rogue, granted, but he's turned him around over hurdles. He's really, really good jumper over hurdles, really accurate over them, and I thought he was valued for more than the winning distance at Verrières the last day. His old tendencies, once he got to the front, he sort of looked around and ignored the last hurdle. But if we ignore the last hurdle, he was ultra impressive, and up against a couple of horses who may or may not show up, but if they do, they've run earlier in the week. I think he'll have the edge over them.
And that's the thing about Palisader as well. I mean, he's so much later coming to this game. He's entitled to take
Yeah,
a few
exactly.
goes to,
Yes.
to sort it out, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
How do they bet on that, Nicola?
Yeah, well, listen, there are 5 horses here declared that may turn out. You know, we could have
Yeah.
multiple non-runners
Yeah.
tomorrow, but Palisader is the 9-4 favourite. Elliott seems to be delighted with him. Mullins is the second favourite in Scarpetta's in there at 11-2. I'm not going to give prices on some of the others because I
Yeah.
think we'll have non-runners.
Fair enough. We'll start sort of from the top of the card. We might leave the Farmers Race B,
Yeah.
but we'll skip to the 420 and this novice's handicap chase. Brendan, something jumping out off the card at you here?
I thought Up for Review was interesting. It was off 147, so you couldn't say the handicappers missed him, but the race at Easter worked out really well. So Album Photo probably would have won. Invitation
That's
only.
not the biggest shout, but yeah, go on.
Well,
Probably.
Invitation Only was sneaky unlucky. Actually, he was travelling
Yeah,
pretty
he
well
was travelling well.
when he came down, and the Storyteller ultimately won it. So finishing 4th in that race, he's certainly not exposed over fences. He's not exposed full stop. I think he can make his class tell off 147.
Did you spot anything in that?
Ballymede is Savola for Noel Mead. I thought it looked quite comfortable winning last time at Ferry House and could have a squeak as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The mare's handicap chase that follows that, by the way, the top weight here is a horse I absolutely love, Slow Motion.
Yeah.
Improperly named, which is a beautiful looking horse,
Yeah.
and she can jump a fence well. Anything for you?
I think Bonnie Cleed's a bit of a hit or miss horse. Missed the Grand National, so I think it's her chance here to get us a win. We'll get the prices up later on tonight, but came second at Down Royal in March after being pulled up before that, so I think maybe we could be on to something.
Brendan, the mare's for you?
It's tricky, Tom, but I'd give a shout to Synopsis. She's only 6. She, excuse me, she jumped pretty well on her chase debut 2 runs back. She won that. Then she probably ran into a half-decent horse up north the last day, and only 6, bit of scope for improvement. I think she's on a fair mark.
Your brief assessment of it.
Yeah, pretty brief.
Of Synopsis, yeah, very good.
Oh.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Champion Hunters Chase up coming after the 2 grade 1s as well. Ballinasloe tops the market here. Obviously so impressive at Aintree, tops the weights rather. Anything else for you in this, Nicola, you
I
spotted?
think Cad de Burlay maybe looked like he had a chance at Cheltenham in the run-in, made a few mistakes, 3 in a row before that, so I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Brendan, for you in the Champion Hunters Chase?
I'll stick with Ballinasloe.
Yeah.
He won it last year, having been second at Aintree, won over the big fences this year, so an even better prep.
Yeah, and quite lightly raced for the season as well. He's just kind of, he seemed to be spot on for that and coming in here, that he could be okay, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah. Fair enough. And Derek O'Connor, what a man.
No, Derek O'Connor, for some, well, maybe it's a JP hookup. He rides the bottom horse, Uxizandra.
Oh, yes.
Who could be interesting, but he only fell in on a point-to-point on his first run for Porrick Road. So I'd say I wouldn't pay too much attention to the jockey bookings there. I'd say it's more to do with JP than anything.
Fair enough. Novices hurdle upcoming at 7:10.
Focus on Brendan for the last two.
This is a tricky one. Again, these races at this stage of the season, are we just looking at what Willie runs here, or you fancy something else?
Well, I am looking at something that Willie runs. He runs a horse called Causey Arch. Now, this horse was fairly moderate on the flat, but we've seen that before with the likes of Bunk Off Early. Willie can just transform them, and he was really impressive in his maiden hurdle. Now, it was a very ordinary maiden hurdle he won, but the second, granted it was an ordinary handicap he won, I think he won off 92, but he did win by 20 lengths the next day. So there's a little bit of substance to the form, and he couldn't have been more impressive. If he were to step up again, I think that might be enough.
Good stuff, and of course Willie can do it the other way around as well. Turn an ordinary jump horse into a decent flat horse too, as we've seen over the last...
Do anything.
Literally anything after the 6 winners he had here on day 2. The closing race is a bumper. Do we look to the same well again?
No, well, Willie has a couple of runners, but they'll have to be decent to beat this Lone Wolf, who finished third in, I think it was a grade 3 novice hurdle behind Hardline. That's very strong form in the context of a bumper. Yeah. So I think, well, I'd be surprised if anything's good enough to lower the Lone Wolf's colours.
Very good. A bit like yourself, Brendan. A lone wolf prowling the greens here of Punchestown. Right, time for some best bets on the card. Nicola, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to stick with Malin. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
You put us off Samco, yeah. Unbelievably, Bookies have put us off the warmest favourite of the week. Anyway, you're going with Malin. Yep. Best bet of the day. Brendan, give us a couple there. Go on.
Okay, 605 Palisader. I just think he's a horse reborn, and I think he'll go in. And the 420 up for review.
Up for review. Good stuff. Well, thanks for that, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow with more What's the Word here from Punchestown.